Okay, so we've made it to one of my absolute favorite topics, and this article below is pretty in depth. It's a great place to get started, so I'm not going to bore you too much with just reiterating what is on the screen. There are images to kind of go along with it, and then also at the bottom there's an interactive activity that focuses on 3 of them, and it allows you to kind of play around and really kind of hit home those 3 compositional guidelines. You have probably heard compositional rules 1,000 times. I really want you to get that word rules out of your head when we're talking about photography and really anything creative or artistic. These are guidelines. These exist, these compositional guidelines exist to give you something to fall back on or to reach into your toolbox and pull something out when you are kind of stuck. So let's say you're walking around and you see this incredible scene and you really don't know the best way to capture it. How can I make this scene what I see in my head on my camera? So then you can kind of pull into your toolbox, pull out your compositional guidelines and say, oh, you know what? There's this really lovely stream leading up to the mountain. Maybe I want to lead the viewer's eye to the mountain. I'm going to use that stream as a leading line to bring the eye to the mountain. You're going to see me write a lot about the eye, in all caps, the eye. Think of this as how you and your viewers are actually physically looking at a picture. When you look at a photo, where does your eye go first? Where does it go second? Where does it go third? When you are making a photo, where do you want the viewer to look first? Do you want the viewer to feel like chaotic and like have nowhere to rest? Is it a really chaotic scene and that's what you want to project? Then think about that. How will the eye see that? Do you want the eye, the viewer, to focus in on a subject who's, maybe behind a window? Are you framing that subject? That would allow the eye or the viewer to kind of focus in on that. So that's what these guidelines are doing. They're giving you a tool to tell the viewer, I want you to look this way. I don't want you to look this way. I want you to look in a triangle. That's the kind of thing that you're going to be doing with these compositional guidelines. I will say this is a little practice that I do when I am not sure what I'm seeing in front of me and maybe what compositional opportunities are available to me. And it's just like a fun little trick. I think I've mentioned it before, but basically what you can do is you can kind of unfocus your eyes and you're not looking at the scene as the actual objects that are in front of you. So for example, what's in front of me right now is my microphone, my computer, a lamp, a monitor, a window, a book. All these things are in front of me. And it's actually quite chaotic, okay? But if I unfocus my eyes, what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing a dark square with a light square inside it. I am seeing a round, bright source of light. I am seeing texture on the curtain and the wall behind me that has a little bit of texture to it. And then I'm able to say, okay, so if I want people to focus on the computer, then maybe that's what I need. That bright white rectangle is what I want to kind of focus in on. So maybe I'm going to cut out the extra stuff that's distracting from it. If this works really well if you're looking for leading lines that are not a road or a stream, like I said, also with frames that aren't a window or a mirror. If you unfocus your eyes, you're going to start to see that there are other things happening. Like if I unfocus my eyes out the window, I'm now seeing there's this like a crack in the building across the way, and it's actually leading my eye up to these 2 like vents there, and it's actually kind of an interesting photo. I might take that photo because it almost looks like a face. But that's what you have to do. You just kind of look around and see, like, if you unfocus your eyes or take off your glasses if you're a glasses wearer, you're going to start to see texture and shape as opposed to objects. And that's a great way to train yourself to see things a little bit differently and to find things that weren't there before. So again, soapbox off, go read through this section about the different compositional guidelines. See if you already have used some of these without even realizing it. Look back at your previous photos, and I bet you're going to be able to say, oh, well, that one is balancing elements. That one is fill the frame. That one is depth. Okay, so look back at what you've already done. You might even find that there's one that you do a lot. For example, I'm big on layering and having a big, strong foreground element, a midground element, and a strong background element, which would be like a sense of depth, right? So that might not be something that I realized that I was doing, and it just became part of my everyday style or routine. And now I know that that's something I do, and I can kind of focus in on it as like a fallback again. If I'm not sure what to do, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll start to fill in the foreground a little bit, and that will help balance it. So look at what you've already done, and then I want you to also go out and try some of these. You do have an assignment that does talk about this, but I want you to try them again anyway, the next time that you're doing some kind of photo shoot, whether it's just walking around or you're playing at home or whatever. Think about these and see how you can incorporate them into your own work. Okay, I'm excited to see what you guys do with this, and see you in the next section, which is all about color theory. All right, thank you.